Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the Wilmot Township Council meeting on Monday, August 23rd, 2021. At this time, I ask that we all take a moment to reflect on the political turmoil in Afghanistan and the lives that have been lost and families that have been uprooted during this difficult time. Thank you. Now I'll ask Councillor Fenning to read the land acknowledgement, please.
We have gathered in Wilmot Township on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Mississauga peoples. We also want to acknowledge the importance of the Dish with One Spoon Covenant, a peace agreement made between Indigenous nations before Europeans arrived. It characterizes our collective responsibility to each other and Mother Earth. We should take only what we need, leave enough for others, and keep the dish clean. By acknowledging this covenant with the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, we are reminded of our important connection to this land where we live, learn, and work together as a community.
Thank you, Councillor. We have additions to the agenda. Additions to the consent agenda. Recommendation that item 1112 be added to the agenda under consent as report number FD 2021-04, second quarter activity report. Have a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Councillor Gordon, second by Councillor Fenning. All in favor? Thank you. That is carried. Next recommendation is that item 12.3 be added to the agenda under reports, fire services as item 12.3.1, report number 2021-14, shower installation, women's washroom, station 1, Baden. Moved by Councillor Fisher, Councillor Gordick. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Now we look to adoption of the agenda. Recommendation that agenda as presented for August 23rd, 2021 be adopted. Moved by Councillor Gerber, Councillor Fenning. All in favor? That is carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Seeing none, we turn to the minutes of the previous meetings, council, and recommendation that the minutes of the following meetings be adopted as presented. Regular council meeting, July 12th, 2021. That is moved by Councillor Fenning, Councillor Gordick. Are there any corrections, omissions? Nothing? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We have no public meetings or presentations this evening. We are now onto the consent agenda. If members of council have any questions and want to remove an item from the consent agenda, please indicate so now, as we will not take questions on consent items unless the items are requested to be removed to the regular agenda. Okay. Councillor Gordick.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong, I'd like to have report 11.10 removed, ILS 2021-31, please.
Well done. Councillor Fanning.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong, I'd like to have the reforestation report. My apologies, I don't have the report number up in front of me, but I'd like to have it pulled for clarification. Thank you.
That's 11.6. So yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
So the recommendation yeah. Yeah, so the recommendation is before you, and we have removed PW 2021-18 and ILS 2021-31. Moved by Councillor Gordick, Councillor Gerber. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. So we will do the 11.6, the reforestation first. Go ahead, Councillor Fanning.
We need to move and second that first, sorry.
Okay, we need a mover and a seconder for 11.6. Moved by Councillor Fanning, seconded by Councillor Fisher. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Fanning.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Armstrong, to the Director of Public Works and Engineering, if you could clarify the numbers of trees and cost per tree in this report, I'd appreciate it, just as we discussed earlier. Thank you.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong, there is an error in the original bid quantities noted in this report, whereas we're reporting that there's 280 trees that were originally bid. This figure is actually incorrect. It is 215 trees that were originally bid through the original bid process. And the revised tree amount, subject to obviously negotiation with the bidder, is in the order of 140 trees. Just a point of clarification on that we are seeing the same unit rate bid for the trees. I can't report the exact unit rate to you due to the bidding process, but we are seeing the same unit rate being applied from original bid to the revised bid amount.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you. Any other questions? So the recommendation is for you. For mover and seconder, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next item is 11.10, meeting schedule. Councillor Gordick.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong. As discussed last year, with regards to council schedule, we had requested that the Sunday before Mother's Day no longer be scheduled before, like, a council meeting after the Mother's Day weekend. After speaking to the clerk, it was missed this year for the next year's schedule. So we've been asked to pull it so that we can modify that to the May 16th for the next council meeting, as opposed to the May the 9th.
Ms. Middleholtz?
Thank you, through you, Mayor Armstrong. So just to clarify, what we're asking here for council is an amendment. Nobody has moved it and seconded yet, so really we need that first, please. And then we can just do a friendly amendment to change May 9th to May 16th.
Councillor Hallman?
Thanks, through the mayor. Just to clarify for those tuning in, I'm here just with camera issues, but I did just want to comment on in support of that, for obviously for staff and for councils moving forward, that perhaps that we continue to avoid that weekend moving forward and Father's Day. But I'm in full support of that amendment and I'd like to second it.
Thank you.
Okay, pardon me, through you, Mayor Armstrong. Councillor Holman suggested that she would second it. Nobody actually moved it yet. At least it wasn't said out loud. With all due respect to Councillor Gordick's waving hand.
I put it up when you first said it, so I thought you saw me. Sorry.
Well, it's the mayor has to pronounce it.
That was my next question as to who was going to move it. I kind of figured it would be Councillor Gordick. So, and seconded by Councillor Hallman, and moving the recommendation as amended. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Thanks. On the reports, first one is, oh, you have a question, Councillor Gordick?
Yes, through you, Mayor Armstrong. Just wanted to let you know that my internet is coming up saying that I'm unstable, so I might get thrown off. But I'm going to turn my camera off for a little bit, so my apologies for those on YouTube. You won't be able to see me, but it's coming up with little notices that I'm unstable. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up. Thank you. My apologies.
Very good, thank you. Okay, so the first report is from Court Services, Statement of Operations. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor Armstrong. The report before you outlines the financial performance from municipal operations perspective for the quarter ending June 30th, 2021. As noted within the report, this report was prepared by Deputy Treasurer Ashton Romney, who's unable to be in attendance tonight, but I'm providing the report on his behalf. Net general levy expenditure year to date is at approximately 43% of budget. That's comprised of operating revenues, which are low due to continued impacts of COVID-19, especially on parks, facilities, recreation, and cultural services. So overall operating revenues currently sit at 29% as of June 30th. Staff have continued, however, to contain costs wherever possible in an effort to balance the overall impact on township finances. Year-to-date operating expenses are currently at 40% as of June 30th. As always, there's pages of notes after the statements themselves to provide a little additional context where necessary, and members of the corporate leadership team are in attendance to attend any questions from council. Thank you.
Councillor Fisher.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong, to I believe it's the Director of Public Works and Engineering. In regard to page 50 or 65, sorry, crossing guard expenses, just wondering if there will be a crossing guard at Peel and Huron this year, as there is a crossing light. And secondly, I know the photo radar cameras are going to be set up in front of Sir Adam Beck and New Dundee. I'm just wondering if the township sees any monies from that, or would it just be all Waterloo region?
Mr. Molyneux?
Through you, Mayor, I will defer the crossing guard question to the Director of Information and Legislative Services, but I will answer your question in regard to the automated speed enforcement. That is a regional program. There are no revenues that come through the township revenue lines, as well as there are no expenses that come through the township expense line. So it is a completely regional program.
Ms. Middleholtz?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Armstrong. So, Councillor Fisher, thank you very much for your question. And so we have actually just begun the process of looking at adding a new crossing, crossing to our program. In previous years, that was actually approved by council, so that'll be coming forward to council. Very shortly, you should be having a response to that question as to how we'll be moving forward with that. So,
Follow up, Mr. Fisher?
Thank you. One other question to Ms. Jackson. If just wondering with your meetings with the region, if they've indicated with the fourth wave possibly coming, if there will be similar closures in the pool and things like that. Have you heard anything? Do they have the crystal ball out?
Through you, Mayor Armstrong, no crystal ball at this point. Also, really no discussion at that level at this point about further closures. We do have I have a couple of meetings this week with the CAO group. So if anything further comes along, I can share that with members of council. But really the information that you're seeing on social media through Dr. Wong and other media sources through the region is really as current as we have even at the CAO level. So at this point, there's no discussion about closures to my knowledge. However, the numbers are changing quickly again.
Yeah, we had not had any discussions that with pandemic control group either at the regional level. Okay. No further questions on the statement of operations? So the recommendation, that report COR 2021-027, Statement of Operations unaudited as of June 30th, 2021, as prepared by the Manager of Finance, Deputy Treasurer, be received for information purposes. And that is moved by Councillor Gordick, second by Councillor Fenning. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next is the capital program review. Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor Armstrong. As you'll see, the township continues to have a significant workload within our existing capital program. Several projects were carried forward from 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and a number of new initiatives were added after the capital program was approved due to emergency needs, as noted. Comments are included regarding the status of each project, and members of the corporate leadership team are here to attend to any inquiries of council. I'll just remind you that this report is as of June 30th, 2021, so some projects may have additional updates, which will be provided in the Q3 update in early October.
Thank you. Councillor Gordick.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong. So I'm going to thank both Ms. Middleholtz and Mr. Millenhouse. I just wanted to make a comment that I appreciate that under the municipal drain maintenance, that the listing of the drains is there. I know that's been something that I've been asking for with regards to the work that's being completed, so that the residents will also know where they are. So I do appreciate that extra little bit on the report, and highlighting that some of the drain work that's been going on. So thank you for that, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. There are no further questions on the capital program review. So the recommendation, that report COR 2021-028 capital program review as of June 30th, 2021, unaudited, as prepared by the manager of finance, deputy treasurer, be received for information purposes. That is moved by Councillor Hallman, Councillor Gordick. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next report is Parks and Facilities, the Administration Complex Fire Panel Replacement. Ms. Jackson, are you handling that?
Yes, I am. Thank you. I believe Councillor Gerber had his hand up a few minutes ago, though. I'm not sure if I was imagining that. No?
I think I was just voting. Maybe I'm lagging or frozen, but
Okay, you were,
trying to keep
yeah,
up.
you were lagging. That must be
Right.
it. Okay, my apologies.
No.
Yes, through you, Mayor Armstrong. The fire panel replacement is a capital project that was on the list for this year. And we did a normal RFP process for this project, and it came in close to budget. Everything has been a little bit over budget these days, but in this case, it was just the design of the system that pushed it over budget. So we're very close to what was estimated at $65,000. This will replace the existing fire alarm system in Castle Kilbride and the admin building, which has reached its end of life, but also didn't have additional capacity to manage any changes to the system. It'll also improve the fire protection for the castle, which of course, as a historic site, we want to make sure we're taking good care of. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Seeing no questions. Recommendation that RFT 2021-27 be awarded to Delco Electric Limited of London, Ontario, for the removal and replacement of the fire panel system for the administration complex in Castle Kilbride, as per their bid submission dated August 11th, 2021, in the amount of $64,270 plus HST. That is moved by Councillor Fisher, Councillor Fanning. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next item is fire services, washroom, women's washroom renovations at Station 1 Baden. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor Armstrong. The report before you was about a 2-year project. This between COVID and getting contractors, it was really delayed. So I'm really pleased to see this report finally in front of council. We went to an RFQ, received some bids, 2 bids, and we've selected the lowest of the bidders, which we did further negotiations on to further reduce some of the pricing. And it's pretty self-explanatory. We really needed to provide a space for our female firefighters that would accommodate them appropriately. And I'm here to answer any questions if any members of council wish to ask.
Thank you, Chief. See no questions. And mover and a seconder for the recommendation that RFQ 2021-20-26 be awarded to Ustis Development, Inc. for the completion of washroom renovations at Station 1 in Baden in the amount of $41,935, including HST. That is moved by Councillor Hallman, second by Councillor Fenning. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. So there are no correspondence, bylaws, notice of motions, announcements. I'll start off with one first to let everybody know the township is conducting a survey in preparation for the 2022 municipal election. Council and staff want to hear your preferred method of voting. The survey closes August 27th. Please visit wilmot.ca/voting survey or contact the administration office to get your copy. So we would like people to let us know on their preference of voting. Councillor Hallman?
Thank you, through the mayor. I'm asking council this evening, as I do have a notice of motion, that we do suspend the procedural bylaw to vote on that this evening. I'm going to read it so you have it. It should also all be in front of you as we received it via email today from the AMO. But at the August 14th AMO board meeting, the board of directors approved recommendations and resources for municipal councillors and their support of truth and reconciliation. Councils across Ontario received the following suggested motion via email today directly from the AMO. Whereas the Truth and Reconciliation Commission released its final report on June 2nd, 2015, which includes 94 calls to action to redress the legacy of residential schools and advance the process of Canadian reconciliation. And whereas the recent discoveries of remains and unmarked graves across Canada have led to increased calls for levels of government to address the recommendations and the TRC calls to action. And whereas all Canadians and all orders of government have a role to play in reconciliation. And whereas recommendation number 80 of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission called upon the federal government in collaboration with Aboriginal peoples to establish a statutory holiday, a national day for truth and reconciliation, to ensure the public commemoration of the history and legacy of residential schools remains a vital component of the reconciliation process. And whereas the federal government has announced September 30th, 2021 as the first National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, National Orange Shirt Day, and a statutory holiday. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Wilmot does hereby commit to recognizing September 30th, 2021 as the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, National Orange Shirt Day, by flying the Every Child Matters flag for the month of September at the municipal office, and share the stories of residential school survivors and their families and communities. That is the motion that was provided via an email directly from the AMO.
Ms. Meadowholz.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Armstrong. So what I did put my hand up a little bit earlier. I was requesting that, first of all, council does need to move the motion to suspend the procedural rules first, if this motion is to be considered tonight. Otherwise, it would just be added for discussion and voting at the next meeting, which I believe it is not Councillor Hallman's intention. She wants it voted on this evening, so it would have been better to suspend before she read it, but so be it. If that is council's intention, I believe Councillor Hallman is moving that we suspend the procedural rules, and then at this point, Mayor Armstrong, you would be asking for a seconder.
Ms. Jackson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to mention that staff are bringing forward a report to council on September the 13th for this very topic with respect to the September the 30th date. And it will outline more clearly what the intention is for this new federal holiday. So with respect to the flag being raised, we would certainly support that for the month of September. That's a great idea. We would ask that council has patience with waiting until the 13th to outline exactly what will be done on the 30th with staff, because we have not had the opportunity to communicate with staff yet about that date. So if that's a possibility, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Councillor Gordick.
So through you, Mayor Armstrong. So first of all, I'll second the procedural bylaw motion to suspend. So that's that part. And I'm not quite sure I understand Ms. Jackson. So if we want to finish with the suspension and get that through, then I have a question I'd like to ask. So I'll just wait just before I go forward.
So, sir, now you're just going to ask for the vote, or if there's any questions on the suspension of the procedure.
Are there any questions on the suspension? Okay, we have a mover and a seconder, so all in favor? That is carried.
So now, Angie.
So Councillor Hallman is moving the motion, and it is seconded by Councillor Gordick. Okay, Councillor Gordick, you have a comment?
Yes. So Ms. Jackson, are you asking us not to have, like, I believe Councillor Hallman's request is for the flag to go up the 1st of September. So I have two parts to my question. So are you asking us not to fly it for the 1st of September? You're just saying there's a report coming with regards to Truth and Reconciliation September 30th day. So then my second question is, I realize that the flag is at half-mast, that we were up until September 30th. I would assume that we would continue, if we were to pass this motion, to fly the orange flag, Every Child Matters flag at half-mast. Is that correct? I just wanted to sort of follow flag protocol. And I don't know if that was something that came out of the AMO as to how to do that, because I believe most municipalities are flying the flags at half-mast until September 30th. Is that correct?
Through the mayor, first of all, yes, my intent was to certainly support flying the flag for the full month of September. No concerns whatsoever. It was more with the reference to the September 30th and what we'll be doing with respect to staff. As far as the federal government has announced that some staff will be off that day. We're still working through with the region and with the province what this day looks like for staff, because it's such a new concept. So we're still working through that. So it's more with respect to the education component. There will definitely be an education component. We just don't know what that looks like. So on September 13th, we will bring that report forward with more details. So if the notice of motion wants to reflect just the flag at this time, that would be great. And if you want to keep the education piece in there as well, that would be fine. But we just would like to be able to present that report on the 13th. And then with respect to the flag at half-mast, I'm just going to defer to Ms. Middleholtz just to respond to that. She's the one who's been managing the flag protocol for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Armstrong. So with regards to the flag at half-mast, this is something that many of the area clerks have been discussing, and we have, for the most part, been deferring to what is being done at Parliament Hill. So it is flags at half-mast. No flag can be flown higher than the Canadian flag when there's a series of flagpoles like we have here. So what we would be doing is similar to what happened with the pride flag, in which case we would add the flag, and yes, it would be flown at half-mast. If through this, the Parliament Hill comes out with some sort of special protocol where with regards to half-mast and the Every Child Matters flags, then that is what we would be following for flag protocol.
Thank you. Councillor Hallman, you have a comment?
Thank you, through the mayor. I'll just provide clarification. I'm sorry if it misread and led to any other direction, but the resolution is just to fly the flag, and that we will, as a municipality, share stories of perhaps reconciliation. So perhaps the region will be putting out, virtual tours that will be happening at the local Brantford Mohawk Institute. So that, yeah, just sharing any pieces that whatever perhaps Kelly through information finds appropriate. But that was the wording that was used for the from the AMO. But I'm happy to amend that and just have it therefore be resolved that the Council of the Township of Wilmot hereby commit to recognizing September 30th, 2021 as the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and fly the Every Child Matters flag for the month of September, if that wording is more helpful to staff and council.
Mr. Kelly, you have a comment?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Armstrong, to Councillor Hallman. What you just said there makes a lot of sense to me, and simplifying it avoids having to rewrite a report that's in draft version currently that has that entire resolution that was supplied by AMO. We're ready to bring that forward on September 13th. The resolution from AMO didn't speak to flags within it. So if you want a separate notice of motion tonight regarding flags, that would make sense. The rest of that draft notice of motion is set to come forward on September the 13th.
Thank you. Councillor Hallman, you have a comment further?
Yes, thank you through the mayor. That comment was in the AMO report. I'm just trying to find, because obviously you can't see me, so I can't. I'll just click on, it was under the second resources link in that email.
Ms. Middleholtz?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Armstrong. I would just like to perhaps take this opportunity just to remind council that the procedural bylaw does ask people, or does ask members of council to be providing notice of motions in writing in advance. So I realize that you just got this today. So there was no way to meet the usual deadline, but having this brought forward in advance, some of these questions could have been clarified and that source, so that we would know exactly what was coming forward. If we can get that as soon as possible to have that clarity, it does go align, of course, with accountability and transparency for all members of council to be able to see the notice of motion, but then also for us to be able to provide it to the public. Even if it's not on the agenda, we could have put it up as a share screen so that the public would know what was being voted on as well, because now the public will not be able to see it in full until it's actually in the minutes. So just a gentle reminder, if council could perhaps do that in the future, we would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Councillor Hallman?
Thank you, through the mayor. Just to the clerk, I did reach out to the acting CAO at 1 o'clock this afternoon to try to have this discussion with a message for a phone call. So I'm sure with everybody's layers of difficult schedules, we were only able to connect 15 minutes before council with what she was able to provide. So I'm very sorry, but just with everyone's layers of that, and then as we noted, that email only came out this afternoon at 12:29. So as soon as I saw it, then reached out to the clerk or to the CAO. So just as things unfold as they do sometimes, here we are. But I did not want to miss the opportunity to participate with it for the full month of September. So therefore, just the timeline to phrase out kind of what happened behind the scenes for everybody.
Councillor Gerber?
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mayor Armstrong. So if I'm following along correctly, it seems like the motion that AMO has shared that they would like municipalities to pass, that we will be asked to consider and pass that as part of a larger report on September the 13th. And it seems like the piece that we're talking about tonight that's maybe unique or out, or a little bit beyond, or maybe ahead of that timeline, is the flag piece that we'd like done by September 1st. So might it be simpler to just simply have and I understand we would be suspending our normal rules, but from a timeliness point of view, does it seem like our main goal this evening would be to just pass a motion to fly the Every Child Matters flag starting September 1st as a start of Wilmot Township's recognition of this new statutory holiday further details to follow in the staff report of September 13th. Does that sound like a way to square the circle if I'm sort of following along correctly?
That makes real sense as long as everybody's in agreement with that.
Yeah, and since Councillor Hallman, I mean, I see her hand, so I just want to make sure that we're honoring what her intention is, that we sort of, you know, hit the ground running with that piece of it on September 1st.
Councillor Hallman?
Thank you, through the mayor. That's excellent. That's very reasonable and very much in support of that.
So I take it, so our motion for tonight is that to recognize and the flag procedure, and that the report will follow on September 13th, I think it is. Yes. Are you putting something together?
Nobody's given me any writing.
Are we doing a staff recommendation that the flag be procedure commence September 1st? Because I think what staff are asking the motion to be deferred to the 13th.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong. So at this point in time, the notice of motion has been moved and seconded as read by Councillor Hallman. So at this point in time, staff has not, we've seen the draft that was provided through AMO, but we haven't seen what Councillor Hallman actually read out. So there's no way of knowing exact, like I'm unable to prepare anything to say what is being until she forwards it to me. So what we need, either council is prepared to pass that entire notice of motion as she read it, or it is also possible for council to have a slightly simplified notice of motion at this time, simply asking that the flag be flown, which we can do. We can prepare that fairly quickly. That would be an easy one. And then the rest of the entire notice of motion could come out on September 13th as council was, or as staff was proposing as part of the September 13th report.
Thank you. Councillor Hallman, you have another comment.
Thank you, for the mayor. I did send it. I don't know if it's in your inbox yet. So I'll redact the one that I read, that I originally submitted, that was moved and seconded, and I will ask for the one that was sent. I don't know if the clerk can share her screen with that one, but it simply just says the motion. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Wilmot does hereby commit to recognizing September 30th, 2021 as the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, National Orange Shirt Day, by flying the Every Child Matters flag for the month of September at the municipal office.
We are asking for one moment. So we'll take a moment to talk amongst yourselves or to yourselves.
If I may ask that this Wilmot Zoom host, please allow me to do the share screen. So we have a new Wilmot Zoom host, and so it'll just take a moment for her to do that. If you could
go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so can everyone see that now? Okay, so at this point in time, the original motion that was moved and seconded, we could just have that deferred, or what we could do is have it actually amended to just be this as well. Whatever council would prefer.
Could the original motion just be withdrawn and then,
Withdrawn, yes, sorry, it could be withdrawn, but that would be for Councillor Hallman and Councillor Gordick.
so Councillor Hallman, would you like to withdraw the original motion and go, and then, and if the seconder agrees, then we will proceed with this motion that's on the screen.
Yeah, through the mayor. Sorry, yeah, so I'm good with that.
Okay,
So I will
And-
withdraw and submit this.
okay, and seconders in favor of that? Yeah.
Councillor Gordick.
Okay, so the original
Yes,
motion
and
is,
Councillor Fenning has her hand up, so I'm not sure if she has something to add before we go further. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Councillor Fenning, you have a comment before we withdraw?
She's frozen.
Sorry, it was about the new motion, not withdrawal of the original.
Okay, so you're wishing to comment on the new motion. Is that what I heard? I'm sorry, you were breaking up a bit, so, yeah, okay. So the first motion is withdrawn.
Yes,
And now we
Councillor
need,
Hallman has withdrawn it and Councillor
and
Gordick.
she's,
in
okay,
favor.
and Councillor Hallman wished to move this existing on the screen, and that is seconded again by Councillor Gordick. Okay, so this is the motion that's on the floor, and Councillor Hallman or Councillor Fenning, you may comment.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Armstrong. Just wondering, as a friendly amendment, if perhaps the word therefore should be removed, since there are no whereases.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong, yes, in proper parliamentary writing for resolutions, it would begin with that. Begin with that.
That will be removed.
The way, here, let me do it on screen. Like that.
Very good.
You're muted, sir.
Excellent. So we have mover and a seconder, all in favor of the motion. And that is carried. Thank you very much. Are there any further announcements? Councillor Gordick?
Hello, as you can see, I have somebody in the background just for tonight. So as you can guess what my comments are about. Our annual auction for Terry fundraiser ended yesterday and raised a record amount for the Wilmot Terry Fox Run. The final total was over $2,700, beating our best auction of $1,200 in last year. In a typical year, we receive around 30 donated items. This year, even though we're all still dealing with the challenges of the pandemic, local businesses and residents donated 76 items for us to sell. Many of them responded after we asked for their support, but a significant number also contacted us unsolicited, asking how they could help. We were simultaneously shocked and yet not surprised by the generosity shown by this community. Thank you for everyone that contributed. As many know, September is Terry Fox Month across Canada, and we will be celebrating in style here in Wilmot. On September 1st, exactly 41 years after the day when Terry was forced to end his Marathon of Hope, We will be dedicating a tree and a plaque in his honor. We are proud to be part of a community that honors the greatest Canadian. A heartfelt thank you to the anonymous resident who is donating a white pine tree to honor Terry's legacy. We're extremely grateful to Wilmot's Director of Facilities and Recreation Services and Interim CEO Sandy Jackson and Parks and Facilities Manager Jeff Dubert for their support. This project would not be happening without your passion and expertise. Thank you. Please join us for the dedication ceremony near the entrance to Snitch Woods around at 6:30 next Wednesday, September 1st. And finally, September 19th is Wilmot Terry Fox Run Day. While we can't be together in person this year, we will still be united in spirit. Register as an individual, family, or virtual team at wilmotterryfox.ca and start fundraising. Then on Sunday, September 19th, do your run wherever you are, around your neighborhood, backyard, down the street, or around the block. This is the 25th anniversary of the first Terry Fox Run in our community. So we're hoping you can participate and celebrate in a way that it will help us take the next step towards Terry's dream of a world without cancer. And thank you very much for everyone in Wilmot for all your support over the last 9 years that Nigel and I have received. It's been an honor, and we really thank everybody for their time and support with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gordick, and job well done. Congratulations on another successful year, and good work. Keep up the good work, you guys. Councillor Fisher.
Through you, Mayor Armstrong. Just wanted to congratulate the Finance Department on their recent recognition of excellence in financial reporting. I know the 11 years I've been on council, every year the auditors would come on and they'd praise the Finance Department about how efficient they are to get their numbers in, and it's just year after year. So I'm glad finally the Finance Department gets some recognition on that. So, well done.
Echoed, sir. Councillor Fanning.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Armstrong. Well, Councillor Fisher beat me to it. I was going to congratulations, so I'll add my congratulations to the Finance Department as well. You know, it's since I've been elected, it's been a pleasure working with you, and it's very evident that you take great pride in your work. So thank you. And please pass my thanks to the rest of the team as well. Also, wanted to mention that August 31st is the International Overdose Awareness Day. This important day is internationally recognized as a day of remembrance for individuals that have died from overdose, and is about acknowledging the grief felt by our community and communities around the world. Waterloo Region saw an unprecedented number of overdose deaths in 2020, and we are on track to have record-breaking numbers in 2021. We must take action to save lives. I know that for most of my lifetime, the conversation around drug use has always been centered on the responsibility of the individual. But we know that individuals who use these substances have a backstory. They are daughters, they are brothers, they are sisters, they are mothers, they are children. And the traumas and harms that they have experienced that have led to their use of drugs compels them to seek an escape. We as a community and as a society and as a world need to help them. We need to end the stigma, reach out and support, and find ways to help them find their way back to healthy living. So take a moment to look around and reach out if you can. I also wanted to say a big thank you to all of the staff. As you saw tonight, there were a whole lot of reports that came forward. You know, we may have been, as council, having a break from public meetings, but the staff have been busy all summer in spite of the summer break. And I want to thank all of you for all of your continued diligence serving this community. And a special thank you to the parks and facilities and recreation staff who have had a very challenging summer, navigating all of the closures and reopenings and all of the attendant changes in protocols. So big thank you to all of our staff.
Thank you, Councillor Fanning. Councillor Holm.
Thank you, through the mayor. Today is the International Day of Remembrance of the slave trade and its abolition. Let's pause, reflect, remember those people who lived through injustice and the effects that still impact their lives today. I also wanted just to comment on the amazing turnout that still happened for the sidewalk sales in downtown New Hamburg. Although it's normally piggybacked with the Mopar Fest and all of those great events, we see the cars lining Peel Street and Waterloo Street and Huron. It was so amazing to see how many people took their time to go and support the small businesses in the downtown core, and the smiles on the faces of community members who were dancing through the streets with the music happening and enjoying treats and drinks. And it really warmed my heart, and my thanks to everyone who supported the small businesses during that tradition.
Thank you. No further announcements. So next item is the confirmatory bylaw. Recommendation that bylaw number 2021-39 to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on August 23rd, 2021 be introduced, read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed in council. Moved by Councillor Fisher, Councillor Gordick. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And we would just want to acknowledge that our Director of Development Services tied the knot this weekend, and he's managed to show up for work today. So we're really happy to hear that. And congratulations to yourself and your lovely bride, Manny. Congratulations. Apparently, for a change, he's shy. Okay, and I want to thank Raj for handling our meeting tonight from the IT staff. So job well done, Raj.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so the last recommendation we have is that we do now adjourn to meet again at the call of the mayor. That is moved by Councillor Gordick, Councillor Fanning. All in favor? You only have to put up one hand. It's carried. Thank you. Good night, everyone, and a safe drive home.